Welcome to your 20-minute podcast with David Brower, where we do our best to give you useful information in 20 minutes or less. Now, here's your host, 5-time Voice Arts Awards nominee, David Brower.
Thanks, Allan. This is David Brower, and today we have a special guest podcast. This is part 1 of the Positive Forward Motion podcast, as my friend Denise Scattergood interviews the 88-year-old Iron Nun, the oldest person to ever finish an Ironman Triathlon, Sister Madonna Buder.
This is a dream come true for me. So for my audience out there, really quick, we are here today with Sister Madonna Buder, and to share how I came across, even knowing who you are, Sister, was about 8 years ago. I was training to be a triathlete, and I thought to myself, gosh, I wonder who is the oldest woman to have ever completed an Ironman.
Now,
and that's when I came
in your mind.
Because I thought, well, yes, because I was starting at such a what I felt at the. I was 47.
Oh, I was just starting running then. Oh, my gosh. I didn't start running until then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well,
and when I found
20 years ahead.
Yeah, thank you. When I read your book, The Grace to Race, I have read it so many times and highlighted so many areas, and it's so much more than just about racing and running. Your spirit and your mindset and your attitude caught my attention immediately. And 8 years ago, I thought to myself, someday it is my goal to meet Sister Madonna. So today, I am so excited and honored to have you with me today, and with the audience is going to learn so many great things. I'm so excited. So before I continue, just say hello and tell the audience a little bit about you.
Well, what you have just said, one of your key words was you have dreamed. Now, that's the beginning. And I just got back from doing 2 2-hour presentations plus an hour each of book signings in Philadelphia. And one of the things I remember saying is because a lot of people want to have the urge to do the Ironman distance triathlon, which of course maybe you know, but not everybody does. It's a 2.4-mile swim, 112 miles of biking, and 26.2 miles marathon altogether.
Back to back, yes. Yes.
So I said, just practice the 7 Ds. And the first is you have to have the dream, is what you mentioned, and your dream came true. So with the dream comes the desire. With the desire comes the dedication. With the dedication comes the discipline. With the discipline comes the determination. With the determination, you do it. And it gets done, with or without your realizing it. And it's better if we don't really realize it. If we just concentrate on going through the motions, which is a healthy lifestyle when you think about it. They are worthwhile motions, not wasted. Even if you have a bike crash, you at least tried. And the worst, I think there is no such thing as a failure, because your best ways to learn is through making your mistakes. The only failure is not to try. And you cancel yourself out. There goes every potential you might have as a human being that was built into you if you don't get out and try. But you've got to dream it, so you have the desire to do it, so you want to put the discipline and dedication into it to get enough determination to get you going to do it.
Oh, my goodness. I love that. And it ties into just this morning. you and I spoke, and you shared with me that it's snowing outside. Now, and I hope it's okay with you to share with the audience that in this July, you're going to be 89 years old.
Oh, gosh,
so
yeah.
I love your spirit, because when we spoke earlier today, you go, well, it's snowing here. And I thought, oh, well, what I've read about you, I know that might drive you crazy to be stir crazy in the house. So I teased and said, did you put your bicycle on a trainer? You're like, oh, no, after Mass, I went to the Y and I completed an hour of workout. And if I didn't have this call this afternoon, I'd probably be out snowshoeing.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And with your background and all of you've competed in over 300 triathlons. I believe over 40 of them were Ironman.
400 now.
400 now. Oh, my goodness.
Well, it was 45 Ironman triathlons. That's what you were reading into.
Yes, and then over 45 Ironman. And that's just phenomenal. And I know you have so many trophies, and as we were talking about our podcast and positive forward motion, you mentioned something the other day that was so profound, and you said, I have a lot of trophies, but there's a trophy that's out there that I believe is a trophy that not everybody believes is a trophy, especially in this day and age. And so before I go any further, I'll let you share and elaborate a little bit on that.
Well, we in the States try to deny our age. We try to do everything to disguise it. And hey, wait a minute. I earned these wrinkles. And my grandchildren, if I had any, are going to care less. They would be sitting on grandmother's knee listening to every word of wisdom that comes from her mouth. It's the person inside the wrinkled face that matters. And the other countries in Europe and Asia, the ancients are the venerable ones. And they've got the right attitude. So, here in America, we have to have a change of mindset. And that is to appreciate our aging process. You'll never get another chance at it. So you might as well appreciate it.
Oh, I could not agree more. And oftentimes I'll laugh, and I find myself saying this quite often. But I say, every day you are older and younger than someone else.
Well, that's an interesting thought. Yeah, and
thank goodness.
When I go to jail, I oftentimes remind them that you are not the same person today that you were yesterday. After you wake up, you have a new beginning, a new start. So make the best of yourself. Which also reminds me that the reason we get so hung up with anxiety is because we're looking at the future and the what-ifs. And my grandmother, bless her whole heart, was really a woman of wisdom. And I was about 9 years old, sitting at the top of our staircase with my hands on my knees, on my elbows, staring down the staircase, pondering. She comes in the front door, looks up between the banisters, and sees me. Very perceptively says, "What's the matter, darling?" I said, "Well, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do when I grow up." Well, she could have laughed, but she didn't. She said, "Darling, let's look at it this way. The past is dead and gone, never to return. The future is not the future until it gets here, and then it becomes the present moment. And that's all you're responsible for, is living the present moment, which will lead you into the future." Now, that made so much sense to me, it just took the burden off my back. And if we live each day, moment by moment, making the best of it, the future that we imagined may never be the same as we imagined whatsoever. Things can change within that time gap. So that's not under our control in the first place. So why bother about it?
Absolutely. Oh, that's a phenomenal message. And you shared with that and when I was reading your book about the AAA of the attitude, activity, and aging, and living in the moment and moving forward one, as I call it, positive forward motion step at a time. Just taking that little step and keep moving forward. Even if you move forward, like you mentioned earlier, and, well, it didn't work out so well, it doesn't mean you took 10 steps back. You just learned how something didn't work or why you won't do it this way, and then continue on your path moving forward, because then you're going to get to that future that you're so worried about, but just keep moving.
Well, you know, what I'm really worried about is the possibility of our very selves dehumanizing ourselves, because we are becoming so dependent on these gadgets that we seek answers. Even the AI, artificial intelligence, telling you what to do? Wait a minute. Let's hold on here. When do I cease to become a human being if I can't even do my own thinking and my own feeling? And I want to give you an example how important it is to listen to your body and to follow the natural instincts that we receive. And God's lesser creatures do a much better job of it than we do. So they don't worry about their wrinkles. Anyway, this happened at the end of last Sunday in October this year. And in Spokane, it was a gray day, just tolerable enough temperature-wise for me to get out on my bike, probably for the last time before the season of this snowy stuff started. And for some reason, I can bike all the way to the Centennial Trail from where I live, and nobody, absolutely nobody, was on that trail. And I'm saying, this is Sunday. Oh, well, it's not pleasant weather exactly, but it may be the beginning of the football season, so they're all in watching football. And I get to the turnaround of my 20-plus bike ride, and I don't think I've gone more than 3 miles. I have at least 7 yet to go. And my nose runs faster than I do, so I was fiddling with my Kleenex, and the bike veered over to the opposite side. Oh, my God. All of a sudden, somebody is barreling straight at me. He said he was going 22 miles an hour. There was no way I could have consulted a little gadget to tell me what to do. So came the instinctive thought. Neither one of us knew what to do. He shifted a little bit to one side. I shifted a little bit to another side. But we didn't have time to clear, and I knew that. And this little instinctive thought said, if you sideswipe, you're in danger. Just go head on. Well, all right. And as I was going head on, it came the second one, drop your head. Yeah, I want to protect my face for this head on. So next thing I am flat spread eagle on my back and hearing the moaning on my left side from the other detached cyclist. And I thought, oh, he's probably really hurt. And I don't know about myself, but, when you have a sudden fall like that, it kind of, it's a shock. It puts you in shock, and you need a little time to gather your wits about you. In the meantime, 2 other figures gathered at the site, and one guy said, "Oh, we better call 911." I said, "No, please wait." The other one on the other side says, "Oh, I think we better call the police." I said, "No, will you just please wait? I'm not ready yet." And he said, "Well, you've been down 3 minutes." And I'm saying to myself, so what?
You've been listening to Part 1 of the Positive Forward Motion podcast with Denise Scattergood and the 88-year-old Iron Nun, Sister Madonna Buder. Listen to the Positive Forward Motion podcast wherever podcasts can be found.
Listen to your 20-minute podcast with David Brower on the go. Downloads are available on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, any podcast app, and on our website at davidbrowervo.com/your20minute podcast. Until next time, thank you for listening.